All right, guys, we're live. It's been 2 weeks or so since we've done our last personal collection episode. Since then, prep for the UK card show, went overseas and had a great time over there. But it's time to go back to these weekly uploads. Before I should say weekly live streams, but before we add in our guest today, which is Paul Pdaz, an original YouTuber in the card scene and also local to the Florida card show scene as well. I'll let you guys know that we are still accepting subs for our late April, early May SGC submissions. So if you guys have cards to send, the link is down below in the description. You guys can also reach out to us, email or Twitter, Instagram, and can't wait to send out everything on that sub and show off some really cool cards on the channel. With that being said, we have Pdaz over here, and he's going to show not only probably Don Mattingly cards, but some of his other PCs as well. I had to put Mattingly on the thumbnail because that's why you guys clicked on the video. And we'll answer some questions too. But what is good, man?
How's it going, Ryan? Good to see you. Hello, everybody.
Good to see you as well. It's been a while since we've seen each other at a Orlando show or something like that.
Yeah, you travel a little more than I do, so you miss our local shows sometimes, but it's okay. I understand.
I need to hit that show up back. I know Steven was over there like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he was there. You're right. That's right.
Yeah. So, pretty excited to see your Mattingly PC. I have one card that I added to it. I think it was a 1/1 Sterling or something like that. But I mean, you've been collecting it for a while now, so I'm sure you have some pretty cool pieces and things like that for a pretty iconic player and future Hall of Famer. That's the one right there.
That's the card you found, actually. My first ever 1/1 Sterling silver parallel. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I love Sterling in the past. I was so disappointed when Topps axed it. It was one of my favorite brands. Like watching the box breaks when I was a kid.
Yep. We used to break Topps Sterling way back in the original days of group breaks. We would do one box breaks by the player, and it would be like $4 a player, and you would get one player, and you'd hope that that box would open up and it would be your guy because you could see the player name when the Sterling box would open up. So those were the days back then.
The best ones were like when it'd be like Babe Ruth or Yankees or like Triple Crown champs, and you're like, all right, this is gonna be a really, really good box.
Since you're speaking about Topps Sterling, I'll start with a couple of those. Actually, I got some Sterling's one of my favorite products all time because I just love the designs and I love the base card. The base numbering to 10 is one of my favorite things. And I used to have a thing where I would always go after the 10 of 10s. That's why people always used to say like Pdaz 10-10. The 10-10 has kind of always been a good luck number for me. But I love Sterling's. I've always picked up like one of each year. I don't try to get like every single design. I just try to get one where the autograph is like right in the middle with a nice clean design. But I love Sterling all the different years, whether it was sticker or on card.
They started at what, like 2006 or 7 or something like that?
Oh, that's a good question. It was definitely the second half of the 2000s. Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
I could be wrong, but I think Triple Threads was around 05, and I think Sterling was slightly after. But it's
it was like a tiered approach where they would introduce a high-end product and then the next year another high-end product, just like Panini did with all the National Treasures, then Flawless, then Immaculate, then Impeccable, then whatever. It's like they do year after year. Sterling was the ultimate though back then.
It was. Yeah. They didn't really put many RPAs though into the product, which is kind of surprising.
For Sterling?
For Sterling.
Yeah, RPAs have never really been a thing for baseball. RPAs really came along in the Panini modern era of basketball and football. There was never really rookie patch autographs when it came to baseball products. It was always the on-card autos and the chrome first cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially those super fractors back in the day when the Strasburg sold for like what 15,000 or something like that and hit all the headlines for weeks.
Yeah, Strasburg. They say he was the next Todd Van Poppel.
It was insane. All the prospecting for that back then, and that was right in the highlights of that too.
Speaking of super fractors, that's actually my only one. I have only one Mattingly super fractor, and it's this the Finest Flashbacks product that they came out with. It's a freaking really beautiful product. These Finest Flashbacks. If your PC player happens to have an autograph in this product, it would be a great card for you to go after because they're beautiful on-card autos.
They look really nice. So what got you into Mattingly? Was he your favorite player growing up, or was it just like
so
Yankee player? Or
Yeah, so I'm 45 now. So I was born into a Yankees family, Yankees, Giants, Knicks, and growing up as a baseball diehard, I was born in '77. So the early '80s is kind of my era of growing up when you're very impressionable as a young boy. I played baseball. My dad was a Yankees fan. Whenever we would visit the family in New York, my uncle would take us to Yankee Stadium. So it's ingrained in my memories as a child of the Yankees. Just had a Yankees hat on growing up. Every picture of my dad, he's got his Yankees hat on. It was just part of our family. And we would go to games and spring training growing up in Southwest Florida. So I was exposed to baseball quite a bit being in Florida growing up, just having a baseball kind of a family. And spring training being right around the corner from us was huge for us. So we would go to a lot of games. And the '80s was basically Don Mattingly. I mean, he was bigger than life back then. The Yankees were, they weren't winning, but he was a superstar. Baseball was a little different back then. So you could go to spring training, you could kind of hang out and get access to the players if you were young and you were, by the fence, they would come over and they would sign for you. So some of my best memories involve autographs and getting balls during spring training games. And Mattingly's just kind of always been that guy on the Yankees. I collect Dave Winfield, Ricky Henderson, all the retired guys, but Mattingly was just the guy. Plus, he was the captain. I mean, he was the guy. He was the career Yankee guy that everybody kind of looked up to if you were a Yankees fan. So, and then when I started collecting cards heavy, as an adult, autographs were a thing. So I really got more into pack pulled autographs than anything. There are a lot of people who are like completionists with their collection. They want to get every single card from the playing year, or they want to get every single card that he had, other than one of ones, or they go for every rainbow. I'm not really like that. Of course, I have some rookies. I have some PSA 9s and a few 10s of different rookie cards, the tops, the Fleer. But I was never a completionist with the early cards or any of the inserts or anything. I'm more of an autograph collector, so I really go after the Upper Deck era stuff and the early Tops era stuff before Panini. So even the old prime cuts, if you remember the really good years.
Oh, the prime cuts were really good, especially some of those patch cards. There's some
Yeah,
guys.
I have a lot of those. I'll show a few of those as well. Yeah, so that's what got me Mattingly. He was kind of a hero to me as a young Yankees fan.
Was it '04 prime cuts like one of the best years ever? '03 or '04, like some of those nasty patches from like the early 20s, 30s, and 40s baseball players. I'm gonna go through some comments real quick while you grab those. But
yeah, go ahead.
Is here. Carlos is here. What's up, guys? JGB.
This is not prime cuts, but that's Diamond Kings. This is the dual patch auto version to 10, and then the dual relic off the auto to 25, and then I got a few prime cuts right behind it. These were some of my favorite cards because they had technically these were non-licensed back then, but nobody cared back in the day. They didn't show the logos, but really nobody cared back then. I mean,
well, that's before everyone joined the hobby the last 3 years and started having hissy fits over things they didn't know about.
Yep, that's the Colossal, and you'll see this a few times. That's the 10 of 10. I used to always try to get the 10 of 10. So any of the cards that were numbered 210, I would always try to get the 10 of 10 if possible. That's the jersey version, and that one is actually numbered 23 of 25, which is jersey number. I have a lot of Mattingly 23s as well, which is kind of cool. A lot of these cards, if you're an avid collector for 20 years, I've owned some of these multiple times. So over the years, I'll try to get like the one that's 1 of or the one that's 23 of. This is one of my favorite from Prime Cuts. This is the triple timelines.
Is that 05 in there?
This is that's a good question. This is Prime Cuts 2008 actually. And this is number 2 of 10, but this one is the one that recognizes him as the 1985 AL MVP. And the timeline is about his career doubles, which is kind of a weird stat, 442, but it's huge leather chunks that stick out of the card. There's no other cards that were like the old Prime Cuts. And a lot of those are still sealed, with the old Prime Cuts. This is the only one I've ever seen with the green jersey from his St. Patty's Day jersey from back then. Prime Cuts, somehow they got this relic, and they're the only ones that ever had it. So it's a pretty cool card for a Mattingly collector. These are numbered to only 4. There's a lot of Prime Cuts variations over the years. Some of them had relics, some of them did not. This one was just one numbered to 23, 12 of 23. The timelines were the ones that would usually have some sort of a reason for the numbering. So this one is number 23, number 1 of 10, and that's the only Prime Cuts. I just happen to have a couple of these behind it. I don't collect a lot of the old the old non-licensed stuff like these, but some of them are really great. Even though, look at that. Like today
Nice.
you wouldn't look at today you wouldn't look at that and say, "Ooh, it's unlicensed." You just wouldn't even notice it really. So
No one. We got a few more comments over here too. Carlos says the Hitman is all-time great on and off the field. I grew up watching him play at Yankee Stadium. Hope he gets into the Hall of Fame.
absolutely, that's my shirt right here. Is
Donnie
Donnie
Baseball.
Baseball belongs in the Hall of Fame. Hashtag Donnie Baseball. Yeah, I believe it. I unfortunately didn't grow up near the stadium and get to watch him a lot, but anybody who had that conversation with, they always talk about watching him play first base was the best first baseman they ever watched. Of course, people in New York would compare him to Keith Hernandez at the time because they were both so great.
And then Brendan says, "Hey Ryan, the 1984 Nestle Mattingly rookie is a personal favorite. That's a pretty nice one too. He's a few 84 rookie cards. O-Pee-Chee, Nestle, Topps. I think he also has Tiffany too, if I remember correctly. At least on that side of things. And then there's all other different brands. Donnie Baseball. Thanks for sharing your PC with us, Paul. And then
You're welcome.
84 Donruss Mattingly is the card to have.
Yep.
Wizard of Albies, really big non-sports collector, is in here too. 9.
Unfortunately, the Mattingly Donruss in a 10 is one of my Eleanors at this point. I never got one, and I need to. I have the Topps in a 10 and a 9, and I never got the Topps variations like the O-Pee-Chee or the Tiffany. So I need to go back and get those. And I do have a Fleer in a 10 as well. This is one of my favorite cards I got way early. This is in a really old slab. That's the finest refractor. Yeah. I got it in a 9, which is nice. I wish I would have got it 10 years ago because they've just gone nuts. But just to have it in a 9 is still really cool.
Absolutely. And then Donnie Baseball is my boyhood idol. Hope he comes back to New York to manage.
Seriously, I agree.
It's so weird though because now he's on Toronto, and
Toronto. They got him in number 23 again, which is great to see. But it is so strange to see him. You know what's funny is they just played in New York. This was his return home. The Blue Jays played at New York this last week, but he'd already been back there because he's been coaching for a while. He coached the Dodgers and the Marlins, so it's not like it's his first time coming back. But it is crazy to see him in another uniform. I'll tell you that.
Really weird.
I still can't get over it.
Then Henry says, "I have 300 different Mattinglys. So you might have a trade partner over here."
Nice. That's a good number. Keep going.
How many do you have?
I think it's about that many, but like I said, I only really have the autographs. I probably have a 3-row box just full of random base and inserts that I've never actually organized or collated in any way. So I don't really know how many total cards I have, but I really just count the autographs. I have probably about 3 to 350, somewhere in that range.
Nice. And then Wizard of Albies. Hey, Wade, just need Glenn in here now. They're talking about Twitter. A bunch of people over there on that side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look at a few more Mattinglys, and then maybe we can pivot to some of the other parts of your PC, because I know you do much more than Mattingly. I also got you a card in that one basketball player. It's escaping me right now. If you have any of those too.
Oh yeah, gosh, I got a lot of basketball. I don't even know if I have any of that down here, to be honest with you. I just pulled all the Mattingly stuff next to me. I got my Judge stuff next to me. If any of these Yankee fans want to see some Judge stuff,
we can do a mixture.
Here's a little more Mattingly prime cuts, real quick though. This is a special one. Nobody on the video, I can guarantee, would be able to guess who's on the back of this unless I showed you. But this is the Mattingly Gwynn dual timelines, dual relic, dual auto to 25 from Prime Cuts, which is a absolutely fantastic card. It's one of my favorite. Mattingly's not the most valuable, but
your mic went really quiet.
Sorry, I actually had a call coming in. I forgot to airplane mode before we started this. And then I also have a few of the people that did open Prime Cuts will remember the years where they came encased. These are some of the really nice ones back when they came in the full Beckett slabs. So people that talk about Panini encased nowadays, a lot of people don't remember there was an old encased product back in the day. Prime Cuts came pre-slabbed like that as well. If you want to switch to another Yankee, we can switch to Aaron Judge. So I'll have to show the
dual on
Judge dual first. Yeah.
1 of 1 too. Nice.
Now the dual captains here is a good transition maybe to a different guy. Now I got all my Mattingly stuff here as well. So really anything anybody wants to look at, if anybody likes some certain autographs or certain patches or anything like that.
If you guys want to put it in the chat, if you want to see anything specifically, it'd be kind of cool to see some specific sets or anything like that. If not, we'll move on to Judge and different things like that. That's a nice patch right there. Ultimate too. Another way high-end brand back in the day. Back then, it was funny. Like when I went on a vacation, I'd say when I went on a vacation with my parents when I was younger, I remember that being like one of the more higher end brands. I opened up a pack or two of there, but it was so expensive for that compared to singles.
Yeah, Ultimate was basically the best thing, man. Ultimate and Premier, and a lot of them were incorporating sticker autographs really early, but nobody cared. You didn't really complain as much back then.
Premier, Upper Deck Premier patches though were disgusting. Like some of those were the best of the best.
Some of these are all the silver stickers that they used. Oh, by the way, 10 of 10. The silver stickers back then that they incorporated into the Upper Deck designs were, it's almost like they made it part of the card. So it was kind of acceptable on a lot of them. Yeah.
Not like a sore thumb today where it's all plastic, or not plastic, but clear on the design.
Yeah. A lot of your, anybody watching here, anybody else collect, specific players, retired players, or everybody just collect vintage mostly? A lot of your viewers, anybody else collect modern autographs? Or
It's an oddball. I'd say most of the audience is vintage or non-sports or pre-war, but it's like all over the place. And that's why I like these episodes, because try to get a different type of PC every week. Henry said KB Toys, but he also said just kidding on it. So there has to be some type of story on that, or it's just like a super common card.
5-star inscriptions were some of the best cards as well. They would number these to only 10, and that was it each year. So if your player had a card in that subset, good luck finding one of those. They do not pop up.
2012 is it, or
those were 2013, and then 2017 is the year with the really pretty hollow foil.
Got it.
This year was really nice.
Those chip also so badly.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like 180 point stock too. They're thick cards.
They are. Brendan says, do you have any of the rare minor league Mattinglys?
I have a few because I collect. Over the years, I've had Mattingly sign at different events or sent away to Mattingly charities events to get cards signed. And I prefer BAS Beckett slabs on my autograph stuff, just because I've always been kind of partial to their slabbing and the 10 auto chip and the design of the cards. So I do a lot of my rookies in Beckett slabs, but I've had him sign a few times, and I've had him sign. These are two of my favorites. The 81 Nashville Sounds team card, the Arby's card, signed Donnie Baseball, which is one of my favorites. Really, it's not like a super expensive card, but it's really cool card, unique, great picture. And he's one of the athletes that when he signs something, almost every single time you'll ever see a card signed by him, it's gonna just look perfect. And then I have the Columbus Clippers one as well, and a nice bold auto. Got that, got those slabbed over the years. I like to send in anytime I have certain cards, like for example, like the 86 Topps design of, everybody always kind of loves. It's kind of an iconic design. But Topps has come out with the Clearly Authentic set. So whenever they do like a Clearly Authentic reprint of a certain Topps card, I always try to pair it up with the like the original. So I just really prefer the look of the way the Beckett slabs kind of match up together. So I've graded a lot of these over the years as they come out with new ones, to try to get gems to match up. Like there's the Finest to go with the 93 Finest, although I don't have the 93 Finest signed, but there's the Clearly Authentic reprint, New Age Finest. And they reprinted the rookie look, of course, in the early year. So that's kind of like, I'm just kind of crazy with the autographs, especially the reprints. Whenever they come out with a really nice throwback design, I love it.
Hitman says, hell yes, what's up, guys? Brandon,
yo, what up, Hitman?
Brandon liked those. It's a bunch of fire. BTH says Tiffany.
Tiffany, I mentioned it earlier. It's one of the few I don't have. I had a PSA, I think 7 or 8 years and years ago, and just sold it, never replaced it, but I've never picked another one up.
No worries on that. Anyone else want to see stuff? Let's see. And then I need a drool bib, says Hitman 23.
Haha. I'm not even showing any cards.
Ziggy says thumbs up on there.
These are also some of the best. We were speaking about unlicensed, but back then you didn't really care too much. The old Prime Cuts and National Treasures notable nicknames. They did this under the Prime Cuts brand back then, the notable nicknames. And his signatures were always beautiful. Look at that. I mean, he just bold, centered, clean. Then they switched to the notable nicknames under the National Treasures brand name. I don't remember what year, but that's when they switched that.
13. It looks like around 13.
Yep. They did a few years with him. He's in a lot of these sets, and he's one of the athletes that always includes a full inscription like he's supposed to. You know, a lot of guys will be in the inscription sets and it'll be barely a wiggle of a signature, or they won't put the inscription, or they won't put their name or whatever. I hate that.
Just writes inscription here. Done.
These old ones, they had to put everything and they had to squeeze it in the tiniest little spot, and he still did good back then. Imagine a modern athlete trying to do that. You wouldn't even be able to see half their name now.
You would not. It'd be all scribbles.
Got a lot of favorites over the years just because I've collected them so long. You know, 5-star is always good. All the Topps products, Tribute, Triple Threads, Diamond Icons. They come out with new products all the time. He's in a lot of them, so he hasn't had a shortage of autographs to go after over the years. That's my my limitation, is trying to only just get like 1 or 2 of each year rather than trying to get everything. So I always try to pick the ones that I like the most. But I always go back to the Upper Deck stuff when I'm looking for something to add to my collection. If I ever find a listing of a card I don't have when I'm looking on eBay, these are the cards I end up picking up. It's always going to be the Upper Deck stuff. Actually, you'll enjoy this. Do you remember the Stroke of Genius set from Masterpieces?
Think so.
Did you know they misspelled Masterpieces? It's kind of funny. The whole entire set is
every single one.
Yeah, every single player in this set is spelled wrong. It's actually spelled wrong on the back too. It's crazy.
Imagine if that happened today with the Panini or Fanatics /Topps.
Yeah. Twitter would be all over it. Yeah,
it'd be all over it.
It's actually you can't see it, but it's spelled correctly right there in the fine print where it says 2007 UD Masterpieces. But the Stroke of Genius set, the entire product has the set name spelled wrong. These are also some of the best sticker autographs. When we talked about stickers, the Heroes set did it on a clear sticker, but man, you just don't see it real clean. It looks good. For whatever reason, the jersey autograph set from the same product was on card. One of the weird oddities back then. They did a patch variation that was on sticker, and the jersey, the plain relic autos were on card.
They probably messed them up on accident.
Even the horizontal one, they made it look like a sticker, which is really an odd. Like nowadays, they try to hide the stickers to make them look on card. Back then, they made an on card look like a sticker. It's not a sticker though. It's just
that looks 100% like a sticker.
Yeah, they just made it look like a sticker.
Collector Dream says incredible collection.
Thank you. If your player has a card in this set as well, this is the old SP Game Used patch set. They used to have SP Game Used edition, then they had SP Game Used patch. That was a great product with some really sharp looking patch auto designs.
Always like SP as well for their cut autographs. It's insane like how many cut autographs they had in like 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
Like, the highlights of some of the different names that are on there that barely have any other autographs.
I do have a lot of various Yankees cuts I've put together over the years. I used to just try to get one of any name that wasn't around to have modern autographs. So I would just try to get a cut of each guy over the years, and slowly I built up a pretty good little collection of those.
We got 2 questions in here. Did you ever pull a Donruss Elite Mattingly?
The Elite, I don't think I've ever pulled one. No, to answer your question, I'm not sure exactly which card you mean, but no, I've never pulled one. If you mean the Dominator, this one? There's this one that's the Dominator, and then the Signature. I'm not sure if that's the Elite you mean. That's one of the famous
And
cards,
then
of course.
Greg says, "Do you have anything from his restaurant?" I didn't even know he had a restaurant.
Yeah, I do have Mattingly's 20. Yeah, Mattingly's 23, and it's right there in Indiana where he's from. I can't think the city's just. I'm drawing a blank right now, but yeah, that closed down. I have a I think I have a matchbook. I have a coaster or two, a couple small things. Yeah, I have a couple items from there. Nothing big though.
Too bad they didn't have any cards that they're distributed over there. That's an easy way to get card collectors into your restaurant. All right, we're gonna do a different card release every like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, Evansville, Indiana. Mattingly did some things like that over the years, though. He did local events where they would hand out themed cards or things with Mattingly. Yeah, Evansville. Yep.
Do you have any of those theme cards or no?
No, I don't think so. And if I do, they would be lost in a box. They're not autographed, so they're just lost in a box somewhere. Yeah, I don't think I have any of those.
Are there high premiums for those type of cards, or are they kind of cheap?
There's some Mattingly collectors are pretty diehards. He has a lot of really, committed collectors. So a lot of those oddball cards and broders and promotional type things that have been made over the years, if they're documented and they're kind of quote unquote legit cards, like known issues, people want them. Yeah.
And they're all probably pretty tough to get. Now, like on the Mattingly side of things, like from the 84s, I would assume from outside perspective that the Tiffany 10 is probably the best 84 and a 10, right? But besides like the 84s and stuff like that, what would you recommend? Like maybe like top 3 or top 5 Mattingly cards. If someone's gonna go after them.
Yeah, if somebody was going to go after like key cards that would be important cards of Mattingly, you would look at the 84 rookies, of course. I think you would definitely rank the Tiffany higher, but of the key 3, that Donruss is the big one that Donruss sells for the most. A PSA 10 of the Donruss 84 is an incredibly difficult card, as everybody knows, just based on the design of the card itself and how thin the borders are. But it's a very low pop card. I don't own one currently. They're very tough to get. If you can even get yourself a 9 that looks appealing and is centered really nice, that's a really great investment quality card if you're looking for a great Mattingly card to get. But if you can afford it, a 10 of any of the 3 main cards, Donruss Topps or Fleer, are great cards. They're down like a lot of things are right now, but Mattingly's one of the few guys that has maintained a really heavy hobby support through COVID and post-COVID. I mean, I've been collecting his cards for 20 years, his autographs, and I've been buying them. I never stopped, so I've kind of seen his pricing. And even through COVID, with everything else coming down, his cards have not really seen that type of a depression really after all this. So his rookies being down a little bit now, I think, is even a great opportunity for people that are looking to buy. I just love to buy the autographs. I don't really look at any of the big key cards. The other stuff that's really important for him would be, I would say, anything that's Topps. The rarest of the licensed stuff, if you're going after new cards, like the Superfractors or the Topps Dynasty or the Diamond Icons to 5 or to 10. If you want an autograph, I would go after something like that. And of course, be picky. Go after on card, something horizontal or vertical if you have a preference, because he's signed in a lot of different products. So you don't have to be you don't have to jump at the first thing you see.
Awesome. And then Hitman said the Nestle he likes the best.
Yeah, the Nestle, of course.
And then how many cards? You already said 300 or so.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Orlando. And then Mattingly had a 1993 Donruss Elite Series card numbered to 10,000. Some of the first numbered cards I could remember. They had Sandberg and Cal Jr. signed the year before. Is that his first possible autograph card, or does he have something later on?
No, he's not talking about an autograph. He's talking about this one. Yeah, he's talking about the Elite Series card numbered to 10,000. I apologize. I didn't know that's what you were talking about at first. I do have that. It's in a separate box over here, and I just happen to have it next to me, even though I didn't plan on it. But I have some non-autograph inserts and stuff like that. This is just on topic. Very, very interesting. The Classics 04. But this happens to be 23 of 1999. I mean, imagine the odds to get that one.
eBay 101 right
there. Yeah, we're not allowed to say that. Yeah. 1 out of 1999 odds. Oh, I have a couple of these set aside because I was planning for the next time I get a chance to do a signing, and this is going to be added to the to that stack of slabbed autos as soon as I'm able to get that one signed and slabbed.
Nice, nice. And then the other thing, so maybe we'll both answer this. So Carlos says, how do you narrow your PC? I have a vast cards and memorabilia collection. I'm looking to narrow it down. So how do
Good
you narrow
question.
it down? And then I'll say what I'm kind of working on too, because I actually have that problem.
Good question. That's actually a really good topic, and it's been on my mind a lot because since I started, I kind of been an avid collector for, my whole life really, but I started to become more serious as like a dealer and trying to narrow down my collection and start selling after COVID, as a lot of us did. But I actually set up at shows on weekends, so I've had to kind of switch that thought process to collect, hoard, to narrowing down and being able to pick through this stuff. And what I've really started to do is to think about which parts of my collection truly are the most important to me, and it's the key players, the key cards of those key players, the nicest of my own card autographs, etc. So as I go through my stacks or my different boxes, let's say I have a box with, like, for example, Posada, Andy Pettitte, Roger Clemens. I could name 5 different Yankees that are not the retired legends that are truly my favorite, like Mattingly, Yogi, Whitey Ford, Winfield. So I can go to those other guys and be like, all right, I got 5 autographs of this guy. Which 2 are my least favorite? So I'll take out the 2 sticker autographs and I'll sell those or whatever. So when I try to narrow down my collection, usually what I do is I go through the whole thing real quick and I try to take out my least important or my least favorite of each of the guys that, and I work my way backwards. And I've gotten to the point now where I've narrowed it down quite a bit. So it's gotten harder and harder to find stuff to let go of. So that challenge is difficult for all collectors, I think.
Yeah, it's really tough because, like, even when I started my collection, it's like I have so many cheap cards, and now, like, on that side of things, it's moving those cheap cards, deciding if those need to be graded or what's the best process to eliminate those. I mean, especially what's tough is a lot of cards between that $5 and $25 range.
Yep.
Those are the worst. But sometimes you can have stuff in nice shape, but then it's like a 9 isn't even really worth grading, or
Yep.
10 at that point it's marginal. So, and liquidating them. So, like, some of that stuff I'm about to send over to ComC, but like, yeah. And then on my, like, higher end stuff, it's tough because, like, even like 6s and 7s of Hall of Fame rookie cards are nice. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have a 49 Bowman Roy Campanella, and I'm keeping it as a 7 now. But I know if I needed funds for like a bigger card, I could sell that and I could replace it. Maybe it takes 6 months or a year or so, but you have the opportunity to do so. And I'm trying to think of, like, how I'm going to upgrade into cards that I don't really see all the time. Another good example is at Strongsville, which if you guys haven't watched the card show vlog yet, I picked up an E93 Cy Young, and it's Cy Young, like, bunting on the card, which is kind of cool. I think that's his only baseball card with the bat, because he's a pitcher, obviously. And I'm selling my T205 to replace it 1-to-1. Would I love to have both cards in my collection? Absolutely. But I know I could go back and find a T205 again at a card show or a weekly auction, because there's tons of them out there. I don't really see an E93. So it's kind of that thought process of, like, can I replace this card in 6 months? Yeah. Okay. I don't feel too bad about selling it. If it takes a little bit longer than 6 months, maybe I'll hesitate and try to figure out other ways.
Yeah, I do that as well. Anytime I go after a card, I always try to make the decision of what card or cards am I going to take out that I could use that money to go after. So if it's important enough, I know I can let go of something less important or less scarce, something that I can replace easier. Especially, again, like I said earlier, if you have a player like Mattingly or somebody who has signed, who has been around for a while in his post-playing career, he's been around, he's been active, he's signed, you can replace a lot of these cards. So if you're dealing with something super scarce, though, I would challenge you to maybe keep that important on your A list and maybe find something else that you can let go of if you're struggling to narrow down a certain part of your PC. Maybe that's the sign that that's not the stuff you should let go of. So.
And I will say, I think everyone does have regrets of cards that they sold or did not buy. So don't feel bad, like, saying, damn, I wish I didn't sell that card, because you can ask any collector that's been in the collecting game for a while. There's always cards that are like, damn, that I should either bought that card, or damn, I should have sold that at this time, or anything like that. It's a market that goes up and down quite a lot. So ride the roller coaster, have fun with it.
Yeah, I've done that quite a bit. And also I would say, if you're just buying and selling singles, if you're not trading, if you're not doing shows, if you're not on Facebook groups, if you're not active on the internet, if you're not grading at all, if you're just buying and selling singles, a lot of times there's a lot less variety in your I guess, in your collecting avenues or your your ways of doing things. So it might be harder to replace a card, or it might be harder to look at options. But when you're constantly grading or you're constantly replacing cards, I think it becomes more fun. It becomes a bigger chase, and you're going to shows every weekend, so you're seeing cards out there all the time, and things don't feel as unattainable when you're seeing cards constantly. So no matter what, I've learned that patience wins. I think I can't remember the last time I jumped on a card the first time I saw it, except for at the National. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I'm very patient with products. With
There's
cards.
some cards, like I go to enough shows where I see a vintage card that I've never seen before. I go, I need to pick that up. I think the
Sure.
last one that was like that was my 1905 Nap postcard, the same image that they use in the T206. I was walking around the Philly show. I saw that. I stopped. I'm like, you know what? I need to buy
That's
the
the one.
card, and I need to find something to replace it with, because it's such a cool card, regional. And I looked at the pop report. There's 2 or 3 out there, so it's not like I can go out there and find it again.
That was the last one that I did at the National. Yeah, that was actually on Sunday at the end of the National, and I had seen that card get pulled because it was still in its latent mag from when it was passed around social media as it got pulled. But this was 3 years ago, so it wasn't really like a big card back then. Judge hadn't done his 2022 season yet, so his stuff had been, a bit of a lull for a few years. So I went to National trying to pick up a couple of nice judges, and then I walked on by a table, and there that card was, and I was like, oh my god, there's the one. That's the card. It was on eBay a month before that. It was passed around Facebook all over, and there it was staring me in the face. I couldn't believe it. So that's one of the few times where I ever jumped on the card the moment I saw it.
No, that was all worth it now. But let's go through a few more comments real quick. I think a few people wanted to see some other cards too. So
Sure.
BTH, I pulled the jumbo box topper from a 93 box. Well, number. Don Mattingly had a candy card too. I remember. Which candy card is he talking about?
A candy too. Oh, a candy. I wouldn't doubt it if he had some sort of candy bar. I'm trying to think if he did. I don't remember. The Hitman or something. I don't know.
And then Brendan says, anyone know why Mattingly wasn't in the 1983 Topps traded set?
It's a great question. It's been one of those mysteries that he didn't get a rookie card with the 83 class like he should have. Technically, he should have been with Ripken and Boggs and Gwynn, and he should have had a rookie card, but he didn't. And I don't know exactly why. I don't know the story behind what happened that year.
Did he play?
But it is one of those mysteries. What's that?
Was it like a full season, like started opening day through 83, or was it something else?
Yeah, he was called. He actually played some of 82, I think, and even he was involved for a couple of years. He dominated 84. His rookie card year, he was practically the best player in the entire sport already. He was already there, So it's kind of crazy that his rookie year ended up being 84, or his card rookie.
None of the manufacturers. That is really odd.
No, he didn't get a single card, which is very interesting. Yep.
And then BTH.
This was as we were talking about that, I was going to pull out some of the multi autos. This is a perfect card to show as we talked about that question. Yeah, this is one of my favorites because it's on card. I just the thought of all 3 of these guys holding this card, I always wanted to ask, like who got it first, who got it second, how do they, the amount of time it takes for Topps or the manufacturers to do cards like this in high-end products on card, only 5, you know what I mean? So they had to send these out, take 3 guys to sign it. I don't even care about the grade, it doesn't even matter, but I do a lot of multi-autos, and as you guys see, I've done a lot of grading over the years. This is a card I found raw on eBay, I think 7 or 8 years ago, and it was a gem. When I got this card in, I was just drooling over how clean it looked. I just couldn't believe it. And this was the dual franchise favorites of course, the 2 captains prior to Judge. There's another one of those 2 guys there.
Is there a Jeter Mattingly Judge triple autoed, or
2 of 99? That's the other guy's jersey number on this card. He was okay too. That's a good question. I don't. They've had triples with Reggie Jackson. I don't know if there's been one with Mattingly, Jeter, and Judge yet. But if there was, it was probably 5-star or tier 1. I could probably eBay right now and just look, but I don't know for sure. Oh, I can tell you I don't own one yet. This is another card I graded from raw to gem. A lot of my PC, a lot of the reasons why I've cared for them so long and taken, the time to put it together is because I've graded a lot of these myself over the years, got them raw, sent them in. This is a absolutely iconic card for my era of Yankees, the old Winfield Mattingly hand numbered from Legends of New York Upper Deck set. These are some of my favorite cards. Anything with Mattingly and Winfield or Ricky Henderson. This is I've graded 2 of these over the years, and they both 9'd. I'm yet to get one of these in a gem. It's an impossible card, but absolutely beautiful. One of the original refractors, if you will. The old Bowman's Best was such a beautiful card. Anybody remember this guy? He played first base for the Yankees just a little bit after Mattingly did. Yeah. That one's 23 of 25. Teixeira. This was also a great set. The old Yankee Signature Series for any Yankee fans that are tuning in. This is a set where I've tried to pick up just about any card from it. The singles, the duels, all the different combos. But Mattingly has a few different cards in that set, of course. Triple threads. Speaking of triple threads, where they hide the stickers really well. Yeah. They use perfectly clear ones that just blend right in real nice. Tough card to get in a gem, but I just got lucky on that one. Cool combination though. Mattingly, Goose, and Mussina.
That is. Cool. Yeah. They must not have a lot of together.
Huh?
So they must not have a lot together.
This might be, I'll admit, my least favorite Mattingly autograph in the collection. I'm just not a big Glaber fan right now. I'm just not sold on him anymore. I mean, I want to be a fan. That was a redemption, by the way, and I redeemed 2 of them, and I ended up getting number 1 and number 2 of 35. So I either feel like I was the only guy that redeemed any of them, or Topps just said, "Oh, let's just send these 2 to the Mattingly guy." You know what I mean? There's another one of the all-time favorites, the Immortal Inscriptions from Ultimate. These are one of the coolest inscription sets ever made. Upper Deck Ultimate Signature from 05. Wow. And that's also a very low pop that I got raw and graded. I think these are pop 3. Anybody watching that hasn't been around the hobby for more than a few years is probably very confused why they're seeing so many BGS slabs. Like, who grades with this Beckett company? I thought they were dead.
Before they changed.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, if there's any modern collectors in here, they'll know Beckett is the only place you would send most of these cards.
All the autographs went there.
Yeah, I would never send any of these anywhere else. Since we're just showing cards, I'll just keep showing a few. I love the Heritage Real One autographs, and this is actually a set where he has not had a lot of autographs. I think he was only featured in this product once ever, which is pretty interesting. And his blue was a short print, and it was a redemption. And I've only seen a few blues ever. I think his blue was short printed lower than the red, which is, the reds are hand numbered to 65. Yeah, but it worked out really weird where his blues are rare. If you check pop reports and if you check historical sales, there's been less of the blues to ever show up than the reds, which is very strange. Pretty cool little tidbit there. I also like to collect a lot of, I'll just add this in as a topic. I like to collect a lot of baseball legends that have dual autographs with Yankees, even if they weren't Yankees. So like, Mattingly has a lot of dual autographs with Will Clark and other first basemen, that kind of thing. So if I'm ever going to own like a Will Clark autograph, I would always try to go after the one where he's with Mattingly. Or if I'm ever going to own like a Cecil Fielder autograph, I would always try to get the combo with the Yankee guy. You know what I mean? So like I have a bunch of Will Clark just because he's been on cards with Mattingly a few times. And a lot of these old Upper Deck sets featured these 2 guys together quite a bit, which is really cool. So I'll go after like, Mark McGwire has a combo with Mattingly that I'm trying to get that I haven't been able to get yet. So I currently do not own a Mark McGwire autograph yet, and I don't think I'll ever get one until I get that one card. So that's kind of how I put together my collection as I go.
That's not a bad way to do it.
Yep. Some of those other triples that were in that set are incredibly rare. You won't see many of these pop up. Ricky Henderson also only has very few Yankees autograph cards, so this is a really cool one. This is a product, I think they only made this product 1 year, 2013 Topps Supreme.
I remember that cards too.
Yeah, I think they only made it 1 year for both sports, which is kind of interesting. And then UD Premier, which is one of the nicest products from back in the day. They did a pairing with him and Tino, which is really cool. Tino does not have a lot of cards. Tino Martinez, for all of you that don't know. And then he also has a lot of duels with Mattingly. This is a product that they only made, I think, 1 year or 2 years also. This was 2011 Topps Marquee, which was a beautiful, beautiful product on white cardstock, on card autos, very limited design highlights, just white cardstock with bold autos. That
was a set where they did big jumbo jerseys, also like the full card itself.
Yep, absolutely beautiful cards. Those are called Titanic Threads, I think.
I think so, something like that.
This is also one of my favorite O'Neill and Mattingly's there. Museum collection has some great duels. I have a lot of duels and triples and multis over the years. These are cards I generally don't grade because I don't typically send them in unless I'm pretty confident to have a chance to gem or better. So I have a lot of raws and a lot of duels. Anybody want to look at somebody besides Mattingly? We can move on maybe while we're talking.
And then Carlos says, I love on-card autographs.
Yeah. Absolutely. These Premier is one of the products where, like I said, they did stickers, but they hit them really well. I have a lot of nice Winfields from that era as well, and Winfield was paired up with Bo Jackson. This is my only Bo Jackson autograph in the collection, so I keep that one because it's my only Bo. And Winfield was also paired up with Reggie in the same set, which is pretty cool. So I have both of those. A lot of Winfield is one of my other main guys. So like all this talk about Mattingly, Winfield was right there with Mattingly during those years. So Winfield was an easy guy to love as a Yankee guy. This is one of one from Fleer, Greats of the Game 2000, whatever year that is. But that was my first ever barrel. That's actually a sticker auto, and that's not an auto on the barrel. That was actually his bat design. His bat design had a facsimile autograph in the barrel. So when I first picked this card up, I actually was confused even as a collector. Like, what is that ink on the barrel? That's not his signature, but that was actually how his bat was designed back then. So kind of a cool card.
That is.
This is not a one-of-one, but it's a better barrel than the previous one. The Upper Deck Ultimate bat barrels are.
I don't know. I like the other bat barrel design a little bit better.
Yeah.
I like the auto.
My only two barrels, actually, in my whole collection just happen to be Winfields.
What does the chat like better? I'm curious.
Oh, which one? Yeah, which one does the chat prefer? So one of them is Fleer Greats of the Game, and one of them is Upper Deck Ultimate Collection. They are both stickers. Upper Deck uses the silver sticker design. Upper Deck is 1 of 5. Nice bold blue auto. It's a nice card. These are actually really, really nice looking cards up in person. The only thing that turns me off about this one is the clear white sticker, or the clear sticker. It's just kind of placed on top, and it is kind of an eyesore in person. But luckily, his auto is clean. He doesn't go off the edges at all. So even as a picky collector, I'm okay with this one. Okay. But they are really cool cards. I'm not going to turn either of them down. This is I'm also a bit of a I don't know what the word would be, but every time I have a card like this where if they're both in the set, I always try to get both. So like Mattingly and Winfield, anytime they have a product where they are both, highlighted, I've always tried to chase one of each. So I got real lucky and was able to add the Winfield to pair up with the Mattingly of those. And I've done that on a lot of different sets over the years. It's kind of like part of the chase that I've always done. So that's part of the question earlier about how do you narrow it down. I've always tried to do that. I make those a priority. If they have the same card between the two guys, I go after those for sure.
Then Carlos said maybe a few Judge cards you're going to show up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Judge, luckily, as a Yankees guy, I started collecting him very early. I just thought he was too iconic and he had too much presence about him to not be a star at some point. So I was lucky to be collecting him from the very, very beginning. And in 2017,
any of your Judge stuff when his prices went nuclear last year?
What's that?
Did you end up selling any of his stuff when his prices went nuclear?
I sold about 20 slabs total last year toward the end of the season. I sold off a lot of duplicates and a lot of like if I had multiple 9.510s of the same card, I would sell off one with, the lowest subgrades, or if I had a pristine, I would sell the gem, that kind of thing. But I did sell some. This is if you can see this, yeah, you can see. This is my Judge case, my one case of Judge. These are just my autographs. I have non-autographs in a separate case. But I did a video on my YouTube for all your viewers that are watching. If you go back a few months, there's a Judge PC video, and I went through the whole case. But I used to have, I say that these could be dollar cards or they could be $1,000 cards. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying it. But I used to have a 2-row box, a shoebox full of Judge 2013 slabs back in the day. We used to grade the Judge base 9.510s, these cards like this. We used to grade these by the dozen because he was only a $25 base auto. The refractors you could get for $45 or $50. BGS grading back then was, $13 or $16, and those of us that used to grade a lot used to send them in. I used to have 25, 30 base gems, 15 refractor gems, 2 blues, 2 greens, 2 blacks, 2 blue waves, 2 black waves, an orange, a gold. Oh my God, I could shoot myself. But I sold a lot of those, and I started to pick up one of everything. So I picked up one Heritage Real One Pristine. I picked up one Heritage Gem. I picked up one Duel with Reggie. I picked up one Red Ink. I picked up one, I picked up one of everything. And I just started going through all the ones I didn't have. And I just started getting everything I didn't have that was outside of the normal chromes. I picked up, finest golds. I had finest blues, tops chromes. Basically I went after all the key cards. Some of my favorites. I have a black label of the 2017 Bowman Chrome Blue. I picked this up at the National, I think 5 or 6 years ago. So probably right then, 2017, 2018. I have a lot, though, just a lot of different cards, one of everything. So like the Bowman Sterlings, I used to have 6 or 7 base. I sold them all. I got 1 refractor, orange, and then 1 refractor, and then 1 base. And I kept the one with the best subs, that kind of thing. So as I went through the collection, I would try to always get the best subs I could get, one of everything.
So Carlos, make sure to give him a subscribe on YouTube so you can check out all of his stuff as well.
Yeah. There's the fan favorites archives, blue, peach, and white. And you'll notice a trend of BGS gems across a lot of these. I did the same thing with the horizontal ones. I pick up like 1 blue, 1 white. A lot of the different rookie year stuff. So basically this entire box is 2013 and 2017 with about 3 or 4 non-rookies like this. The Gypsy Queen Jumbo Sock Home Run Derby Relic, whatever that is. Pretty cool card.
That's sick.
That was actually a Secret Santa gift in a Facebook group 4 years ago, raw from a redemption.
Someone probably is like, damn it, I shouldn't have gotten that.
Nah, yeah, we sent really nice stuff in that group. It's a big one, but yeah, that's a bigger card than probably they anticipated it being back then.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go through these last comments right here, and I think that's a good ending point on there. If you want to give
Sure.
people also your social media accounts so they can give you a follow.
Sure. Yeah, so for any old YouTube collectors, anybody here that likes to watch YouTube videos, you could just search PDAZ, PDAZZ, or Smith Sports Cards. My old YouTube account has videos going back to like 2008, 2009, nerdy old mail day videos on blurry uploaded camera videos. But we used to make videos way back of us trading cards back and forth in that channel. I still have all my old videos there. And on Instagram, you can find me at Smith Sports Cards. I've been posting there for a couple of years. I pretty much post PC pictures at least once or twice a day. So a lot of pictures there.
Awesome. And then thank you guys for all being here. I didn't even realize the NFL draft was tonight, and quite a few people talking about that. I'm like, oh, well, that's a great timing. But I have
What? That's not important. We can talk about baseball cards.
I'd rather talk about baseball cards than watch a draft. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back to editing videos right after
Nice,
this.
nice.
I have a lot to catch up on. But anyways, guys,
Awesome.
I'll be back next Thursday. I'll be honest, I have no idea who is next Thursday. I got to finalize the schedule for this month. I didn't even do that yet. So UK trip has gotten me crazy. But we'll be back next Thursday around 7 to 8 o'clock, and we'll have another great episode. Thanks again for jumping on and showing your Mattingly cards. That was awesome.
Thanks for having me. Don Mattingly belongs in the Hall of Fame. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.